Hello, it's Karen. Today I am going to make this really cute and very simple greeting card from a really nice set that I just received not too long ago. It's a Stampin' Up set. It's called Awesomely Artistic, and we will be using the little spatter, the butterfly, and the friend stamp. This is 9 stamps in this set, and you can just see from all of the different elements, you can use it in tons of different ways. So to start out, I took my Stampin' trimmer and a piece of very vanilla cardstock. I cut it on the 11 edge at 5.5 inches, which is the standard size for an A2 envelope. Also, it will fit in our Stampin' Up envelopes very nicely. We do carry Whisper White, and we do carry matching envelopes for the Very Vanilla, and they're pretty inexpensive. Then I took my Stampin' trimmer and I scored one of the pieces that I cut at 4 1/4. So from every piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, you will get the bases for 2 cards. And I'm going to show you how to make this faster. Then you can go to the store and buy one, and it's going to be prettier than ones that you could buy at the store. And when you have some basic tools to use for your paper crafting, it will be very inexpensive for you as well. So I took my bone folder, which is also from Stampin' Up, and I really like this one because it's super sturdy. I got one with a set that I had purchased with a scoreboard, which I hate the bone folder and I hate the scoreboard. And I was, I guess, very abusive to it because it broke it in half when I was scoring. But this one, I can be as aggressive as I'd like. Then, when I was done with that, I did take a full sheet of the Hello Honey cardstock, and I did cut that at 4 by 5 1/4, which is just a 1/4 inch less than the outside of this, which is, when you fold it, it's 5.5 by 4 1/4. So this is going to be my background for the card, and I'm going to use my Stampin' trimmer again and do that at 4. And then I'm going to do it at 5 1/4. And you can see how that'll fit right on the front of your card. Sometimes when my blade is new, I get this little ridge. Another thing I love about my bone folder is I can just go along the edge, smooth it down, and the ridge goes away. So here is my piece that I'm going to put on top of my card. Then I went another 1/4 inch smaller with more of my Very Vanilla, and I cut this at 3 3/4 and at 5. So this is actually a 1/2 inch smaller with a 1/4 inch around than my card base. And we are done with the trimmer. So I will get that out of the way. I made a pocket letter last night, and I had this strip left over. Whenever I have a good size piece of cardstock left, I don't throw it away. I also try to do something with it right away so that I don't have a big scrap collection. I do have a big scrap collection, but I've learned over time that I probably don't like sorting. Well, actually, I learned I don't like sorting. A little trick for these clear mount stamps, and the reason they call them clear mount is because you put them on the clear acrylic blocks. Stampin' Up! Carries the blocks. They seem pricey, but if you price them with the ones in the store, they are very comparable. And one thing I do like is that our blocks have this little ridge on it on all four sides, so you can get a good grip on that. You're not going to drop it because it indents. So the other thing I like, and I don't know if you can see it, is that, I wonder, I don't know if I can do that. Maybe if I put a color behind it. Well, right here it tells you the block size. And all of our stamp sets in the catalog will tell you what size block you need to use the stamps for your best chance of success. We do bundle our blocks. There's 2 different bundles. And when you purchase the bundles, you do save 15% on the bundle. So if you don't have any blocks, or you want to try something different because you're not happy with your blocks, I recommend ordering the bundle. So I did take a piece of washi tape. This is my trick. I did not think this up, but the person who did doesn't remember thinking it up. But anyhow, this is so cool because it's going to hold your stamps on your blocks, which can sometimes be a problem. They just have to be super, super clean, and your block has to be super clean so that they will stick. But if you're not as crazy as I am, you can just roll up your washi tape like we used to do back in the day before we had double-sided tape. Put that on your stamp, put it on your block, and the stamp is going nowhere. See? When you're all done, you can just take the washi tape off before you wash them. I wash them with dish soap, just some Dawn, I guess I could call it. That is what I use. I use Dawn. But I don't use the kind with like the lotion or anything in it because it needs to be kind of squeaky clean. We do have a Stampin' Scrub, which is really great, but when you're done using your stamps, you should always just really clean them very nicely before you put them away, and clean the blocks before you put those away. So when we have our 3 stamps here, I am going to take and stamp the word friend from our set, Awesomely Artistic. And I'm going to punch this with our oval punch. So I'm leaving some space in between because I would like a couple extra. That way I won't have a giant scrap. And just in case I got any of those too close together, I put a little extra one at the end. And we're going to use our 1 3/4 by 7/8 inch oval punch. And it's simple as that. Our punches were designed to use upside down so that you could see what you're punching. This is a really great way for you to be able to punch out your stamped images and make your own embellishments. Another thing that's very nice about it is if you want to make your own invitations or you're doing a craft show, which it is August 2nd, so our craft show season here in Illinois is coming up very rapidly. I was just looking for my Hello Honey paper, cardstock, and I did on the original card stamp out, excuse me, punch out that little scalloped shape to go behind the word friend. And then I used dimensionals to bring that up. But I might do something a little bit different. Every time I make a card, I always think of something different. So it'll give you an idea of something else that you can do. I'm going to set my friends aside. When you're stamping, it's always a good idea to take a piece of scrap paper so that you don't get anything on your work surface. And you can be as careful as you like. And as long as you're using a piece of paper, you'll probably never ever make a mess. I mean, you'll never stamp off the paper, but if you don't use it, you will end up making a mess. So I say, don't trust yourself and just use that piece of scratch paper. It doesn't have to be anything pretty. It could be newspaper, magazine. Okay, so the next thing I did, I took this kind of spatter and I just very lightly inked it. And I'm going to stamp off with this. I'm using our Early Espresso ink. I'm going to leave this open just for a second because we're going to continue to use it. So just very randomly and very lightly stamp around your paper or your cardstock. And I might put a little bit right down there, maybe a little right here. And what's fun about the spatters is that they are supposed to look all different shades and kind of splotchy. And it seems like people really like that look right now. So a lot of our stamp sets have a different little spatter pattern. You could use that just like it is and just put something on it, or you can do a double stamp technique, which I'm going to use our dragonfly now. We do have one that has a bumblebee, and I earned 2 free stamp sets for a previous recruiting promotion that they did, and I am going to order one of the ones with the bee in it, so I'll be able to do some fun stuff with that too, and it's got some flowers. So when you want to get this kind of random look, I always start in my corners and I just stamp my dragonfly or whatever I want to do random in the corners, going all different ways. So just by turning your stamp, you'll be able to get that look. This one, because we do have the spatter, it's kind of okay if you overstamp. No one's really going to notice it all that much. And I like the way it looks where you sometimes only have just part of your stamp, because then it looks like they're kind of flying into the paper. Then I'm just going to very lightly, straight up and down, put some wings. And I'm going to try to have that go a different direction than I originally stamped. And then you can see I have a couple places just to put a full size dragonfly. So I'll put one here. And I will put one here. And it doesn't matter, just kind of practice it being random. The funny thing about random is it's not so random because you saw how I placed everything. So the next thing that I did, I took some washi tape. And you don't have to have every single bit of this completely covered. And I decided where I would like my washi tape to go. And I used some Hello Honey washi tape. A great place for you to look when you are shopping my website is the clearance rack and the weekly deals. You can save a lot of money by shopping those areas. Okay, so I was messing around now, and I just pulled out the washi tape, and I looked for where the best place would be to put this. And I decided to put it right here. And what I like too is that you can kind of see through the washi tape. So it adds kind of a natural feel. And I probably put that on crooked. Let me see. Yeah, I did, just a little bit. But if you very carefully lift the washi, very carefully, you can reposition it. If you rip it off, you'll rip your paper. And I'm going to line it up with one of these lines. I seem to do best with that on the grid paper. So I am going to try to line my washi tape up too. All right. And I selected there because then I still have one full dragonfly. Always start with your darker color when you're stamping, because I did use the early espresso for the spatter. I did that first. And I used the tip top taupe for my dragonflies. I love the way that the tip top taupe and the early espresso go so nicely together for a light and a dark brown. I don't know, I think taupe is kind of almost like to the greenish brown, but that doesn't matter. So the next thing I'm going to do is take my 4 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece, and I'm going to use our snail adhesive. You don't need a lot. I have seen so many people use practically a whole roll of tape. You just need it in a few spaces. Our tape runner, our tape on it is super sticky. It's permanent. It's not going to come off. And I always put my finger underneath on one of the places I tape. If you don't press this down, you'll be able to reposition it if you're not happy with where you put it. And I just kind of keep my finger underneath there. But you can see, you know, by not pressing it down, I thought I should move it up just a little bit more. Once you press that down, you can't pull it up. So take your time, do it slowly, and just know you're going to have a really pretty card. Nice, crisp folds. So now, I told you I wanted to try something different. I am going to use our Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm going to use 5 halves, 1 for each corner. You know what? I'm going to actually go ahead and do 1 in the, or 2 in the middle, because I want to make sure that it holds up pretty. So this doesn't, our dimensionals are very low and they don't raise this up too much, so you don't have to really worry about additional postage. And when it gets to its destination, because they're not sticking out all over the place, it's just a very subtle lift. Not too much. You got that raised up, and you can just see the difference already between the two cards. And this time, I'm going to just put friend on and raise that up also. I like our Stampin' Dimensionals. You get 100 to a sheet. You get 3 sheets to a package for about $4 or $4.50. They are easy to cut. If you're not trying to cut them too small, they won't stick to your scissors. And they won't smush because they're not those super tall ones. And I'm putting the friend right here. That way, if you're just starting out, you could maybe just buy the oval punch. You could just buy washi tape. You could buy 2 colors of cardstock. So this is my card for today. I hope you like it. You can visit my website at www.Karin, Karin, Biefeld, B as in boy, I-E, F as in Frank, E-L-D as in David, and look at all the different stamp sets we have, all the different color collections we have. If you have any questions, shoot me a message. At my website, you can sign up for my newsletter, and I hope you have a wonderful day.